All right, everybody, welcome to our final match of the AEA fall season. Visible, how are you doing? I'm so excited to get into these games.
I'm doing really well, 22, and we're right off into it. The Simpsons themed finale. We didn't have any plans for this. It's as the Fortnite season goes, but will
It's
be
as
a,
it
a
goes.
themed finale for us.
Yeah, we were hoping to be able to get to see some Simpsons AEA Fortnite in our last match last week, which would have been first game day, but unfortunately, update kind of wiped our replay codes. So here we are, getting caught up with how things are going. The highlights, of course, a smaller map, right? It's a substantially smaller map, notably, and we are getting kicked off right here with the Contender Roughnecks Black roster who are finding their foothold here. Now, keep in mind, teams have had one game day last week to play on this map, so um, the dust is settled a little bit. I'm sure that people have confident drops, confident rotation situations, but the smaller map is definitely something that it seems to be welcome for a lot of us here at the AA.
Exactly right. We're here with Void Terminal and Hot Shoe, and this
Pretty
is
sure this is
NCEA Navy.
Navy. There you go, North Carolina Navy. Yeah, and we are in Donut Land. Now, I actually don't know the particular name of this very. I don't think it has a name. Very specific POI here. North
You know,
Carolina Navy.
I'm ashamed. I've not seen all 47 seasons of The Simpsons. I have to say, I've
You
seen a
haven't seen
little bit.
every episode.
I've not seen every episode. No,
That is a shame.
so I'm a little bit green. There might be references here. What is happening over here? Let's
We
go
got a
check it out.
lot going on over here. Now, this
Um,
could be what is going on.
I'm
Is
getting
this our
bots of
hot
some
drop?
description.
Burns Manor, maybe our hot drop, or maybe I think that this is probably just a PVE situation. I'm fairly confident that's what's
Yeah,
going on here.
maybe they're going
Yeah,
after
so
some kind of rare item early. But it looks like
yeah,
if that's the case, they're not gonna get much. They're not gonna
not a
get
lot of
contested. So
yeah, exactly. That's kind of the draw of any of these situations on any Fortnite map is it's a risk versus reward. You have to draw a lot of attention. You have to take a lot of your time and risk getting quote unquote third partied, even if that one of the original parties is a PVE environment situation. But it looks like they are relatively uncontested, so they'll get to reap the spoils of that situation for Turks on Height and Reze. I need to double check my notes visible because actually on game day this player brought it up, said, "I want my name pronounced correctly,
oh great,
and
okay,
I want to do them just it is Reze. You'd say it Reze.
alrighty,
So
noted.
Reze Peace and Turks on Height, running it down in Burns Manor right now. Definitely one of our EXO rosters. I'm going to get the confirmation here that this is EXO Orange. EXO Orange.
Popping around up, I'm assuming, yep, up to the Springfield nuclear power plant with Frag and Sheck. And this is NCEA Platinum, so NCEA heavy at the top end of the screen. Smaller map, but kind of a low amount of fights, as in no fights at the moment. Everyone's still completely healthy and looking good. As
Yeah,
I say
I'm
that,
sure game
Copper
day
takes a
number
bit of
one.
damage, but not too much. A little fall damage.
Sure. And I'm sure game day one was probably really chaotic. It's always that way after a patch where players are trying to find out where their most comfortable drop spots are. And you have like these league specific metas, right? Where top teams find out a place that's comfortable for them, where it's relatively uncontested. And that might be somewhere that they want to frequent round after round. And they're kind of getting their reps in that way. Meanwhile, we might actually get a little bit of action. It's Alan Xenomorph and Drizon. I believe this is
Exo
Exo
Black.
Black. Exo Black, and they are coming up real close to the Roughnecks Black roster. Exo versus Contender Roughnecks.
Got
And
some
the
players out in the
advantage here.
distance too. So we've got what looks like possibly four teams right in this little southern region. It doesn't look like Comet or Wraith see Drizzen yet. They might think twice about engaging here. It's a little early to expose yourself, but again, small map. You're gonna have teams rotate right on top of you the second you engage. We're gonna take a look though at a possible engagement here. Thunderyard and Valen sneaking up on Rival and Cold.
I believe this is our Frisco Falcons white roster, and shots are definitely going to get exchanged. I mean, this is close quarters visible, and both teams seem to be aware of one another. Getting confirmation right now, Thunderyard and Valen, both members of the Frisco Falcons white roster. And Cold, a member of the North Carolina Esports Academy Diamond roster, and they are making the engagement. Look at the moves visible in the box. They've got the ramp down as well. A simple edit and a shot is going to find the knock, but it's not free.
Ooh,
They've taken a lot of damage in this exchange, but they are going to get the refresh. And is Thunderyard down as well? Did I miss that in the Chaos 2 visible? I think that's a team wipe
that is.
in favor. No, Thunderyard's alive.
Is
Thunderyard
is
is
he up there?
alive. I see it there. On the left, we
Oh
can
yeah.
see. Oh my gosh, got
Yeah, he
out of
nuked out.
dodge. I mean, you have to hand it to North Carolina Diamond for being able to execute a play like that. I mean, it was surgical, got in, got it done. But then also, I mean, a heads up play from Thunderyard to make that exit rotation, it's always tricky, right? You're a duo and you have to make those calls. Do we want to stick it out? Obviously, if you leave your teammate down in a solo situation, it is going to be very difficult for them to overcome that sort of situation. But sometimes, hey, our points are shared. If you just go ahead and live another day, live a couple of more placement points, that might be better for the team. So, overall, not too upset with that for the Frisco Falcons roster.
Yeah, you get to survive another day, as you said. We're here with NCEA Gold, JPW, and Reset, moving with a little bit of haste. They're inside the circle, so there's not a lot of rush. Don't know if they know where another team is yet, but we might actually have a little bit of conflict along the southern border of our circle that's rapidly moving northbound. Nunanusha is down. Goru is trying to make an escape, and looks
Yeah.
like they'll get out, but Nunanusha is going to be taken out. Let's see if
Go for a ride.
Goru, yep, go for
For
a
a little bit
ride
of
there.
ride.
See if Goru does make it out. Nunanusha's finished off there.
This is how I get to work, by the way. I take
Yeah.
a chainsaw
I don't live close
every
enough,
day.
unfortunately. My commute's too far for the
I see.
chainsaw board.
Right. Now you need a bigger chainsaw. Maybe a table saw? Okay. Um, all right, let's check out Roughnecks Black right now. Roughnecks Black, solid on the roster in 10th place in the standings, right there in the middle of the pack visible. I mean, that's a solid spot. You're in punching distance of that podium. You definitely want to set the tone if you're that type of team. I mean, coming into today, contender Roughnecks Black, they have an opportunity to push themselves just a little bit further on the final regular season standings and really tell everybody what they're looking to do in the postseason.
Yeah, and you have really the only thing you can do is put yourself in a good position. You can't always dictate where you fall in the standings, but you can try to just make yourself known as much as possible. Put yourself in the best position, and as you said, puncher's distance, a puncher's chance in punching distance. That's all you need to make a good strike whenever we play the finals. Two teams taking some pot shots at each other. JPW and Reset onto Hot Shoe and Void Terminal. Not any shots landing from our team at the bottom. Don't know if they know if Void Terminals made it up to them on the side. That's a great little flank. Going to release some pressure down here for Hot Shoe. He's going to try to make their way safely,
Oh
but
my
doesn't. Gets
goodness.
absolutely cracked. Let's see how the flank is going. Going a little bit better, considerably better, but it's a 2v1, or 1v2 I should say, situation. It might not matter.
My
Reset
God.
goes down. The shoddy is absolute truth. It looks like the whole squad over here, everyone involved in this fight, is going to be worse for wear. But Reset, JPW, they make it out. NCEA Gold come out on top.
Very, very confident fight from Gold. What a way to start it. I mean, absolutely laser beam to, I believe it was Hot Shoe on the low ground. Not where you want to be, and that is exactly the position that the Roughnecks Black roster is in. Now that we're tuning into them, Cheo Bayo from Carolina Storm Academy, seemingly operating as a solo right now, but he is in the crosshairs of Rival and Cold, who are chasing them down right now. Many different teams involved in this skirmish. And right now, Roughnecks Black choosing just to fortify a little 2x2 down there, hold it down, hope that somebody else might come to the rescue here. They see the rift. A lot of variables to keep in mind for this fight right now.
Certainly, and a lot of teams there. No
Crayon Muncher
deaths.
hiding
That's
in the bush nearby.
yeah. The bush tech is alive and well even on the revamped map for this season. Always feel like they made a point to give you a little bit of a hiding option, that extra little bit of tech you can use. It's not always a build focus game, although it mostly is. Goru is a little bit caught out. See if we can land our shots. Drizzen gets a couple half shields is Goru pushing now, trying to get all up in the space of Goru. Goru's going to try to jump and get away. I don't
The
know if they're
chainsaw
going to
out of
be able
there.
to get out of this one. This one's tough. Drizzen and Alan Xenomorph kind of have him in their sights. Goru might make it though.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Hitting
my
those
god.
shots. Drizon wants to make an edit out of this moment right now, but I don't think it's going to happen. Guru is going to find the escape. Chainsaw away once again. But here it is. I mean, Visible, we have kind of lackadaisically walked our way here. I mean, we have the majority of the players left alive. They are taking their placement points very, very seriously with just a single duo eliminated at this point, and the circle is getting mighty congested. But this is where your rotations are going to start to matter. Look at this. Roughnecks Black, they've been put in a sticky situation more than one time. And now Reze Peace is looking to make this their final one. Jumping into the bush with Crayon Muncher. Finally, the lurk has paid off as Comet the Fifth is now down to the left as a solo with Wraith eliminated, and shots are still coming in from every direction.
This is getting really tight. Close quarters action coming in here. Wraith is down, unfortunately, so Comet is going to have to hope for kind of a third party, I think, here, and they might get that, but I don't know. This is gonna get really scary. Turks knows where they're at. Here they come.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Okay,
Hit the
not.
wall, take it, edit it away. I mean, all in a single frame. Turks on Hike showing why EXO Black, this roster existing at the top of the podium right now, second place. Second place, and I'm getting confirmation here. I said it a little early. It's EXO Orange, excuse me, but still absolutely formidable. Not second place, make it third, and just by a couple dozen points behind them. 760 points accrued up to this point in the season, and call it another one on the back of a nice elimination from Turks on Height here.
Well, it looks like in shotgun distance, Team Orange, right? EXO Orange, Orange
Absolutely.
shotgun.
Okay.
There's a lot of synergy going on here.
Right.
There's a reason I don't write
That's one of
rhymes or anything, but
that's one of the things we can workshop later.
yeah,
We can talk we can we'll bring that up at
the
the weekly
AA
meeting.
retreat this year. We'll have
Right,
a
right.
workshop with trying to rhyme things together.
We
JPW
just look at
reset.
analogies. That's all we do. We just
I don't know what an analogy is.
well, that's the first thing we're gonna talk about.
Is it like a
Okay, all right. Valid and Thunderyard here. Notably, we got a pickup here for Valid and Frisco Falcons White back as a duo here. We do have some teams getting eliminated as the Great Migration is taking place, and look at them. They are flocking towards this new circle in tandem, visible parallel rotations coming through, but any one of them could take a look to the right or left
wow?
and realize what is about to happen. I mean, look at this. It would be a great time to be Frag Dread, wouldn't you say?
I would feel that would be correct. Yeah, Sheck and Frad. Oh my, Frag. They're not. I thought they were maybe hiding in a building. They are in fact not. They
I
are
want it.
perched atop an ivory tower, and from this ivory tower, they're gonna rain down lead
I
on
mean,
all these
look
people.
at
Look at
this.
how many people are
It is
roaming. Oh
it
my
is
goodness.
insane right now. It is insane. Very good to see some nice mechanics coming through from different rosters. It's great to see the Peely sidekick too coming into play here. A couple of the Peely dogs up top hanging out with, of course, the North Carolina Esports Academy Platinum roster who are just firing shots away at everybody who is jealous of their position right now, trying to elevate their position, rotating in. JPW's down to a solo, but is finding some incredible shots once again. Frisco Falcons White dropped down to just a solo. JPW for North Carolina Esports Academy Gold looking to progress their position just a little bit further. They have the high ground over the Diamond roster from NCEA, but they don't have a numbers advantage here. And look at this visible. So many teams are about to be bottlenecked onto this bridge. It is going to get very hairy and very expensive if you have not been cautious with your mat usage and your farming up to this point. You are quickly going to find yourself without anywhere to go, without any builds left to go. This is
JPW
going to
there
get
went
expensive.
down. That was rough. That was really rough. Went down to fall damage. Looked like their structure was broken by another team, and they end reset. I think reset's also down. Yeah, we're gonna check in here with Cheo Bayo, who looks like a solo at the moment.
Yeah, Carolina Storm Academy. I mean, incredibly formidable roster. Makes me want to check actually where we are at on the standings coming into today. Coming into today, 4th place visible. I mean, how much do you want it if you're Che Obeo right now? And you're having to do it as a solo, but, I mean, the pressure is there. It's a tall order for a solo, but this is a formidable roster and a formidable player out of Che Obeo. National tournament appearances, podium finishes at some of the highest stakes tournaments in the AEA. If anybody can get it done, I certainly believe they can. XO Orange trying to get themselves a great position in the end game here,
Did they just
cracking
shoot the
down the
moon?
no, cracking down the crate here, right?
Yeah, it
Popping the
looked like
balloon
the
to get
moon.
it down a little bit earlier. They're gonna steal the moon visible. That's the wrong franchise. It's The Simpsons right now. Different yellow people, actually. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
I don't know what this one is. Monsters
not to be
Inc.
confused with the Minions would be the steal the moon.
Minions, also
Yeah.
something I've never seen.
Okay. Perfect. We are gonna workshop that. That's something we can workshop. Exo Orange, Turks on Height, Reze piece. They've got an elimination. They've got top 8, but they want more. How are they going to make it happen? Thankfully, visible for so many of these teams, they get to come back onto land. They're not going to have to take this bridge final circle situation. They're going to be able to rotate into safety. But so many teams that had placed their bets further ahead are now having to make great rotations. Exo Black catching a lot
Ooh,
of damage. Alex Xenomorph taking big fire from Turks on Height. But what I'm worried about, Visible, is Turks on Height, Reze Peace, they're going to have to rotate at some point too. Are they overstaying their welcome? Obviously, it's paying off. They get an elimination there, looking to follow it up with one onto Drizzon.
Turks on Height, Reze Peace. They're trying to hold this up and hold out. So many teams, if you just look at the mini map, take a gander there. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 teams right now. Two of which look like solos, possibly 3 solos there. What a wild, wild final circle. There's not a lot of room to navigate over here either. It's going to be quite an ending to this one. We're going to go over to Drizzen now, who is
Look at
one
it.
of
I mean,
our solos, not by choice. Xenomorph taken out a little bit earlier in this battle.
what's so interesting about this physical is how much the verticality is coming into play. I feel like so often we see final circles where there's a low ground fight and there's a team that kind of won for the high ground, but we are working in layers right now. And as that ding dong comes through to indicate the map is moving, teams are on the move. Lightheart Ethan drops to Drizzen on the back of a nice shot, but there are still rotations to be made. Teams not only having to push themselves forward, having to keep themselves safe, great tunneling mechanics, trying to keep each other down. Look at Drizzon here, keeping the high ground placement above the other team, shutting out the rotation just a little bit and putting them in a strong position, very, very near the circle, but there's still some distance to close in. We have 6 duos interested in doing it. Copper and Frenchie still alive in the mix as well, and they have a decent position on the high ground,
Frisco
working their
Falcons
way.
Navy here.
Frisco Falcons, Navy, and Visible. That's our current rank 1 roster. Up to this point, they have secured 877 points this season, and they are looking to see if they can push that into a quadruple digit. Great elimination there. Laser beam on Valen, potentially taking out Frisco Falcons White, and they are absolutely shredding anybody who tries to fortify a build underneath them. We're down to 5.
Down to 5 players on the map. So we have, what, 40% of the map is here with our top team. Cheobeo's getting low. Drizzen takes him out. Reze Peace and Turks on Height. We started the game with them up on that eastern side of the map where they got all that unique loot at the beginning, and see if it pays off here. They're going to have to challenge the #1 team at the moment.
Yeah, who do we have in this mix, right? I mean, this is, I believe, EXO Orange.
Yep.
We know we have Frisco Falcons Navy. Has Cheo Bayo been eliminated? I'm not exactly sure. We have Cold. I believe this is going to be maybe the Diamond roster. Let me double check that it is North Carolina's Diamond roster. So we have a lot of heavy hitting teams in the mix right now. But above all of them, not only in the standings, but also geographically, happens to be Frenchie and Copper for the North Carolina Navy roster. And Visible, so often I feel like this is the spot you want to be. You have the control to just take everybody out underneath you and everybody else. It's so expensive to rotate through this madness. Just takes so many builds, so many resources, and Cold is going to fall in that exchange. Rivals dropping down to try and get into the box as well, but Turks is going to get eliminated. And Frenchie, it's a day at the shooting range. Visible. Only now do they want to take it down. It's the last 4 players left alive, 2 duos. And Fritchie has the high ground, trying to break into the piece. Reze's keeping themselves alive on the back of some very strong escape maneuvers right now. It's methodical for Navy, though, who are finding
Uh-oh.
chipping at this damage, finding shots, and I think it's going to happen. Visible. North Carolina Navy get another win, a victory royale in game one.
Game number 2 here at the Amateur Esports Association, Fortnite Simpsons themed edition, the last regular season game. And this is match number 2, as we said, that first match being won by our
We are
top
right into
seeded
it.
team. And just like that, we're rolling quickly, rolling early. Two teams meeting just after touchdown here in the square right in the middle of the map. And it's not
It's
going to
North
be.
Carolina. It's a North Carolina scrimmage right now, I believe. Hot Shoe exchanging shots here with Rival, who is going to get the final blow. But keep in mind that Cold is down as well. And so, what are the numbers right now? I believe we are in a 1v1 Void Terminal versus YouTube Rival. And ultimately, very smart to kite back there as Void Terminal found the edit there. Almost a great shot to take out Rival here, but now it's a little bit of a skirmish again. The edit the shot, it's going to go into the advantage of Rival here, trying to chain it into a second one. But look at the pieces,
Whew.
and unfortunately, Void Terminal falling into the spider web that was inadvertently or not set by Rival there. Just so many pieces. It was a playhouse. Rival could have popped up from any window there, visible, and that is going to be a good way to get into game two.
And we're following that up with a Reze piece and Turks on Height, Xenomorph, Drizen. Four names we're very familiar with, four names that always rack up the points, always getting good standing, so one has to go here. Gonna be an interesting fight right now. Rize trying to get
Oh
a.
my
Oh,
goodness. A
wow.
flyby. An
Such a.
absolute flyby. All of the movement mechanics on full display here by, I believe that's Reze Peace flying around the map, or maybe it was Alan Xenomorph actually, but Turks is taking to the height that they claim to have. Alan Xenomorph, I think, getting introduced to Gravity there. It's a little bit unfortunate, and that's going to be a win for Reze Peace and for Turks on height, and emoting typically not appreciated at the AEA, but you know what, Visible? That was a in-house scrimmage between two of the EXO rosters, so that might have been a little bit personal, and I will leave them to that.
Yeah, it's a competitive, for fun emo, I think,
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I am with it. I could tell a story somewhat related, but I think more relevant. We have a little bit of a three duo skirmish, or maybe a solo involved as Cheo Bayo in the mix on the other end of that. Copper and Frenchie are playing for placement. We're gonna kite away from this, but I'm curious how Cheo Bayo is doing. Visible. Can we see how they're doing as a solo here?
They
Are they
are.
still up?
Yeah, they're looking okay here.
Carolina Storm Academy operating as a solo today.
And I'm not even seeing where they are on the map. They're pretty close
So
to.
there's a little bit of a bug
Yeah,
where
okay,
you
they're right
can't
here.
actually see. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it is what it is, but we can see Cheo Bayo doing quite well. And kind of rotating up into Aqua
Oh.
here. I believe that might be Exo White. They've just found each other. A little bit of an awkward situation. Cheobo going to quickly get healthy and going to take the rotation. I think it's a solo versus solo situation, visible, but Cheobo might not have that intel and might just want to go ahead and say, hey, I'm not really looking for any 2v1s right now. That's not what I'm here to do.
Yeah, and looks like very quick on the uptick. Very quick reaction time. I like the spot Cheobeo is in. I think we're going to stick with this fight here because it looks like Aqua is not going to let Cheobeo go. Cheobeo is going to look for a little bit of a better position. Just wants to get in shotgun range here, which shouldn't be too hard the way Aqua is wanting to get in this fight. Aqua likely having some sort of close range weapon themselves. They're pretty hungry for this kill. Let's see if we can check their. Yeah, okay, it's shoddy v shoddy right at the moment. We'll see who can get the pump action weapon off first. Who can sneak it through that
I don't
one
know,
piece that
Fizzable.
they fight over? It's always so fast. It's like it's right in the middle of we're talking about, oh, these rosters they're doing this, and then it's like piece moved and shotgun shell is through the wall instantly. It's so fast.
Yeah, and see, this is kinda I mean, it's a stalemate, very nearly. Both players know that it's gonna get very dicey if they try to push into each other's spaces. It gets very, very difficult, right? Very, very expensive to fight over every little piece, and it's too easy right now to kite away. So I don't know that it is a beneficial situation for either of these players to really commit to a fight since it's been drawn out this far. There's just this much mess involved. So a little bit of a stalemate here between Aqua and Cheo Bayo. Let's check out North Carolina Esports Gold roster. They're making a loud rotation. Are they aware? It looks like they are. Exo Orange on the other end of their crosshairs now. Gonna get
Making the
right into it too.
move.
Shots behind them. I mean, Turks on High must have taken a quick rotation to be able to find a shot like that. JP, just a little bit of a chip off the blue HP, so nothing too crazy yet. Still an opportunity for either of these teams, but this is how these very cagey fights work in the mid game. Visible, neither team wants to overexert, overextend themselves. They're just trying to find that opening, and if they don't find it early, I don't know that they stick around. We'll see what Reze and Turks want to do. To me, is a rotation. They are going to pop the fish and hit the blinks away. That's going to be the thing to keep an eye on. Visible, those fish, that rotation tool is the strongest thing to have in your kit as a duo on this version of the Fortnite map, especially going to these later fights. And Turks, they go from one fight that didn't quite work out, take it to a new one. Aqua as a solo has to contend with Exo Orange duo and do it with low HP. Make it 9, make it 0. Aqua is eliminated and is going to join Crayon Muncher on the lobby screen, waiting for game 3 today. Turks on Height Reze piece with 3 eliminations racked up, and we are just now really entering the end phase of this game. A lot of teams are now going to have to rotate, and it's going to get messy. That refresh there is going to be a good little pickup, a good opportunity to get some mats going and some other goodies that they get to pick up from Aqua, especially after a couple of expensive fights visible.
Yeah, exactly right. Really a great uh, move there, and they're at a good spot here. They're not going to be really easily taken from this hill, from this position. They're going to have to, you're going to have to climb this or come from the top. It's going to be a really hard, difficult area, and they get a little bit of time to survey and see what's going on. We're going to survey ourselves and see if we can find a little bit of action. This is the kind of time where teams are a little bit cagey. They want to see where this next circle is gonna land before they really get a really solid engagement. Really, only engagements will happen here when there's just such a clear advantage or there's just no other option. Most teams right now hunkering down. See Turks on Height and Reze Peace. Couple eliminations to their name. Everything's tightening up a
Yeah.
little bit. We'll see Cheo Bayo survived that interaction with Aqua. Still a solo, so wanting to just kind of skirt most of these fights, finds themselves a bush, and that is where they're going to tuck in for a little bit and see if they can just outlast a
Yeah.
couple of these
Can
teams.
This
Uh-oh.
is exactly where I wanted to go. I wanted to peek at who's got this position, this earliest position to circle, but I don't know if they're going to be able to take advantage of it visible. There's a lot of a skirmish for it. Turks is just rotating through their build structures right now to try and keep that forward position. And you can see it on the mini map. You want to be first because then you have the ability to pressure all of the other teams. Cheo Bayo currently contending for that spot, but it's going to be a incredible fast reaction time shotgun shot to take Carolina Storm Academy out of this one, but I don't see any major rotations coming through. I think the play here for Exo Orange is going to be to hunker down.
Hunkering down, they will. We're going to see if Reset has some heals. Looks like yeah, not a lot of shields, just a little bit. Can get up to that 50 mark. Not going to be able to get to full, so a little bit low on resources are a couple of these teams. I think I just missed a massive bit of damage. Yeah, Reset just got obliterated there by, it looks like, Thunderyard. And this is when
Oh, and
it just gets,
JP.
oh yeah, this is just it's too tight now. The space, the real estate, the market's
Oh,
being absolutely swarmed. The value is increasing. Every single position you can take and stake your claim is just so important. You can see these teams not much separating them at all spatially, and they're all going to have to kind of walk
look at
together
this.
down to the southwest, which is just going to be lovely and awkward. We'll see how they navigate it.
It's gotta be a fish in a blink. I mean, look at them; they're already getting ready for it. I'm not sure, maybe Turks doesn't have that, it doesn't have the item to make that rotation, but this is usually where you'd see some of these really aggressive teams making a big rotation for space right now, and there are teams doing that, but Exo Orange, it looks like they might wanna make up the tail end of this rotation. It's a strategy, and we'll see if it pays off for them. Right now, it's gonna result in a huge chunk of damage being lost by Turks on height. Good thing they have the resources to heal that up quickly, and now the rotation comes through for Exo Orange, but it's messy visible. There are teams and players falling left and right. Big rotation being made. Shots could land at any moment, but somehow Reze is able to execute the rotation unscathed. They have far side circle, and it's their job now to pressure all of the teams that try to threaten their position. They have the high ground. It could be JPW as their next victim, who's got a little bit of a spot fortified. How about the bottom of the barrel? Not metaphorically, just the bottom geographically right now. Lightheart Ethan trying to stay alive down there with Duo. Allen and Thunderyard are just Thunderyard up for North Carolina. White and catching a lot of damage on this rotation. Still visible. Very difficult to make these moves. Going to live with just 16 HP and live to pop the med pack. We are down to 5 teams and 8 players. Exo Orange sitting on the high ground.
Love their positioning here. They really get to kind of watch the conflict walk slowly. Look at this absolute mess. It's going to be a little bit hard for us to track, so hopefully you at home can kind of figure out what is going on with these teams. They're all rotating. Turks on height just went down, unfortunately. So just as I was praising the positioning there, it looks like just
Be a
the
fall or
migration of these teams
could have got
kind of
chopped.
getting to
Yeah.
them a little bit. Getting really, really tough here. Theory trying to put some damage in. We have a bridge here. That might actually be pretty valuable if you can stick the landing. Gonna
This
instead
could be
opt
a
for the
2. This
tucking
isn't
in. Yeah.
necessarily horrible, except for the fact that look at that rotation. That is going to be a tricky situation. 6 players, 4 duos. North Carolina Gold is involved in the mix on the back of JPW. We're going to see the rotation now from Lightheart Ethan trying to take a position onto the high ground, trying to get out of the storm. Don't want to take too much damage there, and does get to meet up with Duo out of Theory. That's going to be a very valuable position to be in as a duo. Not everybody has the same. Reze could be in a very dangerous position trying to make this rotation underneath our POV team here. But of course, they're catching damage because nowhere is safe visible. There's nowhere where you're not going to be catching damage in this circle. North Carolina Gold out at 4.
And our top team, once again, maybe we should take notes about this. They very often will somehow snake their way right to the top of the pile at the very end. JPW is
JP.
taken out by Theory and really taken out by just about everyone. Just fell a little bit out of the range of any sort of cover, and it was that quick, being taken down really, really quickly by all the players
We're down to
left.
2.
It's a 2v2 here. We have our top team with Frenchie and Copper, and then Lightheart, Ethan, and
It's be
Theory.
your Frisco Falcons green roster, notably. And Frisco Falcons green, they're not a team to sleep on by any means. 6th in the standings, though. But to be in 6th and to threaten a victory royale right now, visible, it's an incredible position to be in. 2 versus 2. Both teams relatively chipped, but relatively healthy at the same time. Still, the high ground positioning, as you mentioned, in the favor of North Carolina Navy right now. How is this one going to go? Right now, they're just opting to continue to chip away at the resources, the health, and look at that visible. Whether they were aiming for the mat or the head, either way, it's going to count as a knock. And now a 2v1 numbers advantage for North Carolina Navy. It would take a miracle for Theory to be able to pull it off. But it is an AEA Fortnite game day visible, and everything is possible.
Theory has to figure out a way to take two really, really good players out in Frenchie and Copper. It's not going to be easy. Has the low ground, but does have the golden
Trying to
pistol. It
opt.
won't matter though. Frenchie Fortnite takes Theory out to get victory number 2.
Visible, we are back, and we are right into a skirmish here. We're following Exo Orange, who have the low ground, relatively well kitted out, but they have a bit of a fight going on here against, I believe that's North Carolina Platinum roster. I might have to get the confirmation on that. Frag Dread and Sheck on the other end of this.
Exactly right. We'll see how this fight ends up. It seems stealthy. They just don't want to give. Reze doesn't want to give up any sort of information for free. Both teams know obviously they're there, but it's all about the angles, all about the just the quick angles, the height, the positioning, and the piece control. Resi took a good little burst of damage there. We'll see if that'll come into play later. Can't really heal it up at the moment. So we're just stuck with seeing
We
what's
see
going
this,
to
we hear the
happen.
shots taking place, but
Yeah.
nobody quite falling at this time. And again, I mean, it's kind of uncharacteristic for teams to be so committed. And this is where we've talked about it before. If a fizzable, I almost called you fuzzball. My goodness, what a cut. Um, the sunk cost fallacy, right? So many like resources being invested. You almost have to win, right? Because if you don't get the resources that the other team does have left. Turks is going to find that elimination onto Shek. And from here, we have the high ground and the numbers advantage. So Fizzable, I think they're going to be able to
Ooh,
take this
what
one
a
the rest of the way.
prize. Golden SMG here. Dang,
That is
okay,
a
that makes it
prize.
all worth it. This is a big time commitment here. Taking some damage, using a lot of resources, as you said. Gonna have to take out Frag Dread now, which is easier said than done. It is a 2v1, but we're just at such an awkward spot on the map, and you have to just play it really slowly, and they do. They play it really perfectly. Frag Dread did their best, but is taken out. In fact, Reze and Turks on Height getting that elimination. We'll go over to Grouchy Ethan Kitty, who looks like a solo at the moment.
Yark's Team Z. Yark's Team Z. And I mean, I want to give a shout out to Yark's Team Z because Grouchy Ethan Kitty is this roster and so consistently comes on and participates in these AEA Fortnite match days and gives it their best as a solo. And that is just such a tall order, right? Especially when
Mhm.
we're talking about the level of competition that some of these duos are operating at. So for Yark's Team Z to come in and to put up a respectable 428 points coming into today, here to collect some more today. I mean, solid performance from them. Love to see that from Yark's Team Z and Grouchy Ethan Kitty. Reset is also down to a solo, but not because they queued that way. It looks like they lost duo a little bit earlier. And then we get a favorite pair of ours, Funklington and Crayon. I say favorite just because the name Funklington. What a great
I
name.
really like Crayon Muncher too, because I guess Crayon Muncher won, and possibly just Crayon Muncher was taken.
Yeah.
So we went with the number two.
I actually own the domain Crayon Muncher one, so that was the rub there. Um, yeah, Funkly. I believe that's our EXO White roster. Um, for the record, by the way, seed 8 coming into our competition today, so very strong placement from them. We got Rival and Cold. We've seen strong performances from Rival and Cold today, right? So I believe this is our North Carolina Diamond roster. I'm gonna have to get a quick little fact check on that. And it is North Carolina Diamond, and they've made it far, right? So we've seen North Carolina Diamond probably in, I don't know if they've had a podium finish, but I want to say top 5 game 1. They were doing really solid. And so up to this point, they are currently sitting at seventh, right? Seventh on our standing. So again, punching distance of that podium. A lot of points secured this season. And maybe this is how. Maybe they're pulling out the green thumb, getting it in with gardening and hanging out with the bush, hoping for another team to make a rotation just nearby. So we'll leave them to that for now as we check out the Roughnecks Black.
Looking great here on top of the big sign over Camp Krusty. See a couple teams maybe interacting over here. See what's going on. Alan
Alan
Xenomorph and
Xenomorph and
Drizzen.
Drizzon. Exo Black, right? Exo Black. Crayon Muncher. 2 to be clear, not any other Crown Muncher. Crown Muncher 2 catching a little bit of damage here all the way, actually. I actually thought Visible they had made that rotation, but of course, when it's Exo Black that is trying to follow it up, you are never safe, quite all the way safe, I should say, and Crown Muncher is going to get full eliminated there. I'm not sure if Funklington is still in the mix, so we might have to keep that one in mind to see if Exo White is still around, but it's going to be Exo Black winning that little skirmish there.
And Cheobeo, just real quick check in. Hiding out to the end. Good strategy. See if they can kind of
Kind of
worm their
required.
way into a podium finish.
It's difficult. It's very hard to be a solo. We've talked about it a
Yep.
number of times, and there's Funklington on the top right there. So not down, but not out for Exo White after losing Crayon Muncher. And look at that visible Crayon Muncher with two, Funklington with another two. So they have had a great round already, being able to grab 4 eliminations in this match.
Yeah, so you've locked yourself into some points, and now you're just kind of giving yourself, as we talked about a little bit earlier in the stream, a puncher's chance at kind of getting that top three. Hard to get that, to get that win as a solo, but you can sneak into the top three, top couple. You get those bonus points, and you're probably feeling pretty good about that. Let's see if Cheobeo takes this fight. Might have to. Don't know if they're figured out yet. Oh, it's
Oh my
it's a
gosh.
surprise attack, not one that Cheobeo was probably wanting to take. But Drizzen walks right into it, takes a load of lead there, but no one really taken out. Cheobeo is really
Wow.
fast. Always make sure they have the speed fish in tow. They're going to track him down, though. They're going to try to go after Cheo.
This is dicey. They say, I think the royalty, the throne is shared by many different teams in the AEA. But they say if you're going to swing at the king, you best not miss. And Cheo Bayo had an opportunity there to land that shot onto Drizon, and it just wasn't enough to deter them from the chase. And so Cheo Bayo having to invest all of their movement resources into this position. And as we mentioned, this is a solo, which means that Cheo Bayo now has to figure out how they're going to play the rest of this game without one of their most critical tools just now used.
Yeah, Cheobeo is so good to get out of that situation. We're looking like we're getting to a fight just near Cheobeo's position. Rize, Turks, Cold, Rival, see who comes out on top. Cheobeo might come in to clean. It's going to be an absolute madness of a fight here, kind of early on, earlier than we'd normally see.
And
Final
now I'm
circle has
wondering,
not been determined yet.
yeah, and now I'm wondering, there might be another scrimmage happening just off to the side. Reze with some good little grapple mechanics there to get the rotation, but not going to find the damage trade they were looking for. They're actually the ones following a bit low. Cold and Rival looking very healthy in this skirmish, but look at the mini map visible. We got teams coming in from the storms. We got teams just ahead of this, and despite the fact that this isn't the last circle, it might feel like it if more teams decide to get involved.
Indeed, and Rival looking for the push. Check the map really briefly. Yeah, I mean, it's just getting crazy over here. We have a side fight that we'll try to pan to if we can, if this one resolves quickly. It looks like this is going to be maybe the seminal point in this one. Yeah, JPW goes down, and that is it for this battle here. High ground is Drizzen and Alan Xenomorph coming down onto Copper and Frenchie, our top team at the moment, taking a lot of
That
damage as Copper goes
Copper's down.
down.
Copper's down, and at 8th visible, this is exactly the type of fight that you're looking for if you are one of those podium teams that's trying to figure out how do we take North Carolina Navy off their throne. You got to take them out early. You don't want to get them in second. Cold is now the one on the wrong end of Alan Xenomorph and Drizzen's attack. And Exo Black to do this as the team that's sitting in second. A phenomenal round for them. They've dropped Copper out, which means that North Carolina is maybe, or excuse me, Frisco Falcons Navy is maybe down to a solo. Is that the case, or is it a full elimination? We're peeking who's all alive in this game right now, and I'm not seeing our duo here from the North Carolina or the Frisco Falcons Navy roster. Excuse me, Funklington and Crayon Muncher. They're back as a duo
Yep.
visible. So Funklington found the pickup there. Very, very good for Exo
Uh-oh.
White.
Reset. Coming out of nowhere there, off on the flank, getting a lot of damage down. And this is, again, kind of a vulnerable time here for Crayon Muncher and
Oh,
Funklington. They're just starting to get their bearings again, and they're having to really push into teams while a solo on our left here is taking a lot of shots. We'll check in with Xenomorph a little bit ahead of this fight.
I was really feeling for that. I thought that we might have seen a player eliminated by just the saddest near crouch situation. Couldn't crouch underneath the box. That would have been so sad. But lives to see another day. Exo Black making this rotation on the side, and this is a good rotation here. Dead side storm, just able to kind of play for that early positioning here. Storm about to move here in about 9 seconds. So we'll see. They are going to give away their position just enough to try and take some pot shots. We've seen what players are able to do with this pistol on this patch, and they are beaming players right now. People are getting cracked and eliminated shortly after. So I have no doubts in the reasoning behind taking those pot shots.
Certainly, they're really really uh, uh, making. I've seen just so many good decisions on this stream, and we're deep into the season, right? So that is expected. We know these teams are really talented and play this game often. They're knowledgeable, but still impressive nonetheless. And impressive could be this next fight. We have two really really talented teams playing really well right now, going at it. It's a bit of an awkward angle for both sides. Looks like Turks on height, and teammate is going to get the high ground advantage here.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, Visible. Everybody's here, and I don't think we're gonna see too many extra circles. We're down to 6 at the nuclear power plant. Notably, Frenchie for North Carolina Navy is alive. I just finally got the confirmation that Frenchie, and I keep saying North Carolina, it's Frisco Falcons Navy at the top of the podium. Not almost taken out at 8th, but one member still alive and has a great position to make a rotation for Storm as this circle is gonna get to moving in about 1 second. Here's the move. We've seen a lot of success from Frisco Falcons Navy playing on the high ground. Right now, it's EXO Orange with the ability to play from that position.
Surveying around a little bit. Looks like they're way above the fight. Crayon Muncher actually goes down. We'll see who takes him out. It's going to be Alan Xenomorph. What an incredible performance from them. Cheo Bayo's alive, by the way. Just a quick little check-in. Alan Xenomorph powering their way up top of this nuclear reactor here. And the strategy is interesting here. Just trying to stay out of the sights of some teams. Maybe try to sneak into someone's base or inside this little side room here. Looks like that's what they're gonna do. Very very awkward place for these teams to all meet up and fight.
It
But
is a
six
crazy
teams
finish.
remaining. 7 players remain. We'll see. Alan Xenomorph's very low. Gonna take a little moment to heal up. Copper leaving Frenchie to fend for themselves here at the final circle.
And Frischi, I mean, getting it done and the way it's different, right? I mean, playing differently than they play as a duo, which is exactly to be expected, but it's so calculated, it's so proper, taking the best positions that you can have and making it pay a dividends right now, Visible. Getting that elimination there as a solo, a second elimination secured for this round, and making it to top 5 now, looking to see if they can punch just a little bit further. I'm wondering if this is going to be the round that we see Frisco Falcons Navy lose, or if Frenchie's going to be able to pull it off alone. Frenchie now catching a lot of heat from Reze and Turks, who have the high ground, but a lot of builds around Frenchie to kind of play around and hopefully stall out just enough for another team to get involved in the mix. And now EXO Orange, they forfeited their high ground position to get involved. They're going to get their hands dirty, breaking into the box of Rival, but not finding the piece. Still trying to make it happen. Piece is grabbed. Is there going to be an edit follow-up? No. A secure there for Rival, just keeping themselves safe, but ultimately they're still in the storm, and so they're going to have to make that rotation out. Turks now still hungry, Visible, dropping in, looking for the opening. It's not going to find itself. Bayo makes a rotation, keeps themselves safe as well, and every player putting up walls exactly where it needs to be. The defensive gameplay has been spectacular, and a great little shot does get landed there from Bayo. Rival ultimately falls to Reze. And no matter where you are, Exo Black is putting damage on. Finally, Turks is receiving that damage. It's going to be Bayo dropping, and Turks is down. It's 2 teams left, 3 players, and it's ultimately a 1v1 with Turks dropped right now. Reze has the high ground, Frenchie, and it is going to be a win for Exo Orange.
Welcome back. Game number 4 here at the AEA, and we're kicking it off here, or finishing it off rather, in Camp Krusty. Cheo Bayo, the solo, maybe trying to take on an early solo in Grouchy Ethan Kitty. It'll be a pretty rare 1v1 here on the AEA, and we'll see if anything strikes Cheo Bayo's fancy with this engagement. But one more game for the books, one more game this week. we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. Cheobeo getting a little close to York's Team Z, as you mentioned. And Fizzable, we were talking. Well, shoot, we got to focus up here a little bit because is Grouchy Ethan about to get discovered? Seems like the knowledge is there. And Visible, this is very, very dicey. Cheobeo, very, very formidable. There it is. It's going to be one, two shots going back both ways. But of course, the right hand peak, something oh so valuable in Fortnite. And that's going to kick off game number 4 in a very fast way. We tuned in a little bit after the drops, but our early game was just a little bit more active than a lot of them have been. And so we have another fight taking place here. JPW in the mix. We have Reset as well, of course, the duo for North Carolina. And look at that Visible. Hey, take this. I'm over here. You just go ahead and crack that real quick. It's Robot Destroyer and Taki on the other side of this fight, but JP is getting pushed and Reset has to get into the mix quickly. Otherwise, it's effectively a 2v1. JP is able to escape with just a sliver of HP Visible. But I don't know. I mean, they're kind of down right now for Reset and JPW, the North Carolina Gold roster. Gonna need to make something happen, find a good connection on a shot, or maybe both teams just handshake to go separate ways because this does look very expensive.
Very expensive indeed. And we're at the edge of the world here as the circle's closing in. So both teams gonna have to make that decision. Looking like Reset and JPW looking now for a reset, and I think this is a very very good idea at this point. I don't mind at all. As you said, probe the other team, see what you got, see if you have a kill or two, and then move on if you can, or get a reposition. So I think they're way more comfortable on the attack here. We've got some teams here waiting in the wings. We were just with Reset and JPW, Nunanusha over here with Goru, and might have a three-man situation here. Let's just check the map a little bit. Cheobeo might be walking into a bit of a camping team here. Oh yeah, doesn't know the bush activity is there.
Oh no, Teo
Cheobeo.
Bayo.
Why would a team ever be out here? Well, only Rival and Cold can answer that, and maybe that's why. They get some free loot,
From
get a kill
opposite
for their
sides of
name.
the esports lab. I believe that would be because that was is that Void Terminal? We just saw it on screen, but I believe those were two North Carolina teams there. So Cheo Bayo, Carolina Storm Academy, you got to hand it to Cheo Bayo for competing today as a solo and doing quite well. So definitely great to come in and to put some points on the board for Carolina Storm Academy. They are going to be a team that is worth watching when we get into our postseason events. Also worth watching is EXO Red. I don't think we've seen them on broadcast before Game 4 today, but Robot Destroyer and Taki here for EXO Red. And they are doing quite well in Game 4 with 3 eliminations racked up to this point, Fizzle.
Yeah, exactly right. Loving what we're seeing from them. We're going to take a look at our current top team, and in fact, I see it now. It's not the moon. It is
We're
a
going to steal the moon.
it is a it is just a drop.
Get the
Looking really good.
crate. Nothing too crazy. I don't think anything too crazy coming out of there, but we do for Frenchie and for Copper, we do seem to be very well kitted, and they themselves have 2 eliminations as well for the Frisco Falcons Navy roster. And things are getting down to the wire pretty quickly. This is probably the smallest last circle we've seen. Maybe as the day goes on, teams getting a little restless, taking some earlier fights than we're used to, and somehow we are down to just a handful of teams, maybe 10 players it looks like in the lobby right now. 10 players for 5 different teams.
Yeah, it's going to be sparse. It's not going to be like one of the earlier rounds where it was just absolutely nonstop action at the very end. Going to have a little bit more tactile engagements. I'm guessing this is a bush over here. It is. Thunderyard and Valen. Not
Frisco
a bad
Falcons
strategy
white.
at all.
Frisco
Pretty
Falcons
nice
white.
coverage. Yeah.
I think they're what were they 6th on our standings right now? I'm gonna get the confirmation on that. Ninth. Frisco Falcons white ninth. Unless that's green. I mean, let me double check rosters.
Having a
Yes, this
team.
is our Frisco Falcons white roster with Thunderyard and Valen. And then here we have North Carolina Gold, JPW, and Reset. And they've also got 2 eliminations. So, I mean, bouncing around Fizzable, everybody that's here has fought for it. They have eliminations to get to this point, and here is the engagement. Reset on the high ground, trying to fade off one rotation, but I don't think they're aware of the North Carolina Gold rotation that's joining the mix as well. JPW has 2 eliminations. Can they rack up a third? Very good, quick building to get to the high ground position, dropping in to Duo's box here, but they don't quite have position on any other teams to find the opening shot. Could have almost there, Cold
Oh,
exposing themselves just a little bit, but not going to take any damage in the exchange.
JPW took a little damage on the fall and reset shield damage and health damage. They're going to take a second just to kind of recalibrate. We'll see if they get pushed at
Oh my
all.
gosh.
It looks
Can we
like
observe the bush? This bush for Thunderyard and Valen may actually come up massive because they are right there in perfect position,
you're
visible. I mean,
right.
and look at who's on the other end.
That
Frenchie
rotation.
in the works there. We see Taki, so EXO Red, and then Frisco Falcons Navy kind of looking to make some rotations in this area very soon. We also see another team in yellow in the area underneath us. I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, big names are about to be making rotations right next to this bush, and maybe it's more of a Venus flytrap situation.
They've got
Well,
a
that makes it a little less, a little more conspicuous. You want to be
yeah, I would
inconspicuous?
have
A
to
little
agree.
more conspicuous?
And why be a
Um,
wallflower when you can be a Venus flytrap, as the great artist Marina and the Diamonds would say? And that seems to be
I
what
would never been
Thunderyard
able to.
and
There you
company
go.
are employing.
There you go. Frisco Falcons Navy, and they are going to actually end up into a skirmish with the North Carolina Gold roster, I believe. Flying around the corner was uh, was JPW and Reset, and I think they're able to quickly get out of the way. I think that they were not expecting that to two players to just roll up onto them. But there's some damage. Oh my gosh, making a lot. Reset somehow finds the shot. It's going to get traded back visible. Frenchie's going to get full eliminated. Can Reset get picked up? You don't want to go into this as a solo for North Carolina Gold, trying to just fortify position for long enough to get the pickup, going for the res now. A very, very big res. They have the health to kind of get back in shape here. I'm not sure how they're doing on blue heels, but they definitely have some resources at their disposal to try and get a
Oh,
little bit
Thunderyard, they're leaving the
healthier here.
bush. This is their move.
Oh,
They
and
made the
they're
decision.
pushing in.
Let's see what's going on.
Everybody, like a can of sardines packed together tightly. Frisco Falcons white on the low ground, looking to see how they're going to take this. So often, visible, we talk about the high ground play. We talk about the team that has the bird's eye view of our final fights, but it is very, very respectable and very, very legitimate to play for a strategy of winning the low ground. And this is what you see right now for Frisco Falcons white. They have nearly a 2x2 kind of established here, a lot of pieces down, and it just makes it oh so difficult for other teams to fight for position around them. Now, of course, the big thing to consider is what's going to happen with the circle. That's the downside of these types of well fortified positions. If you have to make a large rotation, getting another one set up again can be expensive, it can be time consuming, and you're trying to do it while catching so much damage and pressure from the teams that do have alternative positions. So 3 seconds until we see where this next circle is, and it could be make or break for some of our teams.
Yeah, this is going to be possibly a wild finish. All these teams really biding their time. They're so close together, but they're really playing their positioning really nicely here with Rival and Cold. No more bushes in the vicinity, so this is just going to be pure. It's going to be pure build time and a couple of maybe awkward little pieces of geometry. Once again, we're ending up in the nuclear power plant, which has some things that are unbreakable. So you're going to have some fights you wouldn't see elsewhere, which will be kind of interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. As with two finishes here and then two finishes on the bridge today. I mean, some very strange in-game types of situations. Early rotation coming through for North Carolina Gold just to try to put themselves in a good spot. And if they don't catch too much pressure right now, they'll be in a similar position to what I thought Frisco Falcons White might have been able to set up for. But Frisco Falcons White, they are looking a little bit drawn out right here. Not a lot of HP on their side. If you see them in red, kind of in the periphery, getting a little bit more health up right now. Still 9 players. I mean, when it gets down to the wire like this, these players are so, so good visible at just staying alive, putting up builds at the right time, making rotations at the right time. Doing damage is very good, but sometimes maybe the best offense is a good defense. I don't know. I mean, these AEA games, very, very competitive right now.
Opening up just a little bit of the piece here. Valen shot up quite a
Oh my
bit.
gosh.
Frenchie, or excuse me, Copper finds the finish there, looking like they're just in solo mode at the moment. Oh my god, the HP is
This is
going
gonna be
down
tight. I don't
quickly.
know.
This is going to be really tough. Has the orange chug jug, and that is more than enough to sustain Copper. I don't know if they're pinned down. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get out of the situation. This is going to be really, really tough. They're hoping right now that attention is going to be drawn elsewhere. The chainsaw skateboard
It's
is
going to be
just
a
so
photo finish.
clutch. He
Visible.
gets
Oh
in.
my gosh, but still not out of the clear yet. I mean, 4 duos still left alive. Rival's gonna fall down, and Cold is up as a solo. They have 2 eliminations of their own. Between 4 teams, there's only 5 players visible, so only one of them, and make it Exo Red only the one to have a duo in this game state right now. They have the high ground as well. I mean, can you have it all? The bird's eye view of our final fight, 5 players and 2 of them controlling the high ground. Incredible work from Copper to stay alive. I mean, we have to commend that. It came down to the wire, but Thunderyard is looking to maybe go ahead and finish the job, breaking dangerously close into the section that Copper is playing from right now, and Cold is in this area as well.
Exactly right. Just 5 individuals left, 4 total teams.
Oof.
Cold
Very
trying to just
dangerous edits coming through.
yeah,
Copper playing aggressively despite the HP situation. And the 3 solos are just going to duke it out. A miniature battle royale happening at the bottom of this pile right now. Copper takes out Thunderyard.
Cold, no
Cold
shields,
here.
full HP, purple pump shoddy to their name. I don't think it's quite a one shot, but if you hit the head, just about anything is possible. Robot Destroyer and Taki trying to make a move, searching, probing, trying to find something. 2 teams remain. Cold is the last player
Oh,
standing. Robot
big
Destroyer gets a
damage
little
trade.
bit of damage through.
Big damage trade. It's a nice shot by Cold, honestly, but when you're trading 1v2, it's just not going to work out. More damage, though, visible. Taki is dropping down dangerously low HP, and it just takes one shot to take Cold out of the equation and call it a win for Exo Red. But right now, Cold isn't looking to let it happen. Great shots landing, takes down Taki, and Visible suddenly it's a 1v1. But no, it is going to go in favor of Robot Destroyer, in favor of Exo Red, and on a back of 7 eliminations, they win game 4.